Walker here from Psychologies magazine, and I am delighted to be here today with Katie Brindle. Hello, Katie. I am very excited because I just say your things arrived today. Just in the nick of time, so I'm very excited. I'm like, oh, what can I do with this?
Oh, what am I going to do? Yeah.
I'm a little bit poorly today, Katie. I had a small op on I had a dodgy mole. I had it removed, so I have to be careful. Stuff. But just let me tell you about Katie first of all. She is a practitioner of Chinese medicine, author of the best-selling book Yang Sheng. Tell me, what is Yang Sheng?
Yang Sheng means nurture life, and it's very much at the sort of the preventative end of healthcare, which is kind of what people they know when they think about Chinese medicine. Isn't it true that Chinese doctors used to be paid to keep you well, and then if you got sick, they treat you for free? And you go, yes, that's right. And then when you then say you're a Chinese doctor, they always think, oh, is that acupuncture and herbs? But Yang Sheng is very much at the preventative end of keeping yourself well, nurturing your life.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how we do that. So I know all of these fantastic things have just arrived through the post. So I see these are some of your products, but tell me a little bit first of all about the theory behind it. How do we start creating a regime or a kind of habits or rituals for ourselves that is all about preventative and keeping ourselves well? Where do we start? What's the theory behind it?
Really where we start is really where we leave off, which is kind of preventative health at the moment is sort of 10,000 steps a day, going to the gym and eating 5 a day. That's kind of, and trying to get some sleep at night. And minimizing screen time. That's kind of where people are with where self-care is. But there is a massive remit of content that Chinese medicine gives us for absolute like bells and whistles on self-care. But it really does boil down to a couple of really key concepts. One is that the body needs to purge and nourish. You need to purge out things which you no longer need. And you need to nourish through with things that you do need, and that you need to allow the circulation to move freely around the body. And those are the basic principles of self-care. And therefore, we are using Chi Gong and breath work and tools to really enable this to happen, which is really where the book came out of and where I am now.
Tell me about, you say Chi Gong. For people that may not know what that is, can you explain that to us as well?
Yes, Chi Gong means life force practice. So Chi is life force and Gong means practice. And the idea is every day you do a series of very, very simple movements that work with vibration and stretching and purging the body and nourishing the body. And you do it every day. And the idea being that it gives you enough energy, like a bank account, really, that if you're spending £5, you're earning £5. And in an ideal world, if you're doing these techniques properly, you're actually earning £10 and spending £5. And the idea is that the body banks this extra energy, and that's what gives you life force, energy to get through your life. And in theory, if you take this kind of to the nth degree, is that a healthy body is much less likely to get sick. And that's where we're going with this. Look after low-level signs and symptoms. Give yourself good energy. You are less likely to fall prey to more serious things further down the line.
Sure. So you're doing Qigong and meditation sessions, aren't you? Or is it on Instagram every day for free? Yeah. So tell me a little bit about those sessions, because those to me are, it's when people, you can talk about Chinese medicine, you can talk about meditation, you can talk about Qigong, but unless you've actually done it and you can feel the benefits, then it just becomes a theory. But I think as soon as people start to start experiencing it and feeling the benefit themselves, the energy come through their bodies, then everything changes. So tell us a little bit about what you do in the sessions and what time they're on and those kind of things.
Thank you. So basically the morning Qigong, that is the entry point really for everyone, because meditation is always a bit, people a bit scared of it, but we'll more on that later. But the morning Qigong is an hour class at 8 o'clock on weekdays, Monday to Friday. It's a bit like a breakfast show. So it's funny, dynamic, crazy, and then we go into more of a sort of like a dynamic meditation towards the end. So it's very much an exercise class. It's very much aimed at people that get weight loss, which is a term I don't like, but it means something to people. So it works as an exercise class in its own right, but it's also community-based. There's a large group of people on that every day. I have 2 people in my team who are kind of online talking to people and helping them with the specifics of their issues. The community themselves, we've got these kind of incredible people in the group now who are quite advanced in terms, because they were early adopters and they've been through the process. So they're there helping the new people coming through. So It's a really great class, and it leaves you feeling all important, relaxed, yet energized.
Yes.
And really with enough energy to get through your days. So you're not dragging yourself around thinking, oh, I feel exhausted, exhausted yet restless, which is what so many of us feel like. This is the opposite, relaxed yet energized, with enough oomph to get through your life.
Yes. So can you give us an example of the sort of thing you might do on that? So give us something that we can try now. Is there anything now?
Yes. Okay. So the first thing that we do is we start the morning with shaking. So
yes.
This is from shaking the tree.
Okay.
The tree is a very, very simple Chi Gong, because all you're going to do is you're just dislodging anything that's got sort of stuck in the nooks and crannies, and also you're getting the cells to vibrate, which is what you want to do. You want the cells to start kind of like energizing, because that makes you feel energized. That's the first one. And then we tap the body. So this is where you either use a loosely clenched fist or the tapper that's just arrived.
Oh, yes, this has arrived. So tell me about this. I was very like, okay. I was like,
this is a tapper. The clue's in the name, and you literally use it to tap all over the body.
Okay.
It's very light. It only weighs 180 grams, and it gives you a whole arm's length so that you can get down your back. This is so useful.
Okay.
If you're on your own, and even if you're not on your own, I mean, Mr. Brindle is not that enthusiastic about giving me massages when my back's hurting me. So, at the end of the day, this tapper does the job because I can reach my back. And it's very good for cellulite. It's very good. It energizes the cells.
Now you're talking.
Yes, I know, now suddenly a cue.
Now I'm interested. Get rid of my cellulite. Now you have my attention. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Well, the reason why it works is because it's encouraging the smooth flow of circulation. And as I said at the beginning, the body is based on two simple principles of health. One, purge and nourish, and two, free flow of circulation. And the tapper enables both, because what you're doing is you're dislodging any old cruddy stuff that's kind of settled overnight. So it's particularly good in the morning. And then, of course, what you're doing is, because you're vibrating the body and breathing, you're allowing the oxygen to really kind of penetrate through and get down into the sort of the depths of the body. And it also works extremely well on the long bones for stem cells. And the Taoist masters would use these tappers for about 20 minutes a day. Normally before and after they would be practicing quite dynamic kung fu type exercises. So this is a very good piece of kit. I always say if you own a yoga mat, you need a tapper. I mean, it's so good. It's brilliant for everyone. If you're not very well, if you're in bed, if you're infirm, if you're elderly, these tappers work absolutely brilliantly, because you can go very lightly.
Yes.
And therefore, if you're not well, your body can take it. It's light. It's only 180 grams. I mean, most people can pick it up. It allows the cells to start vibrating. And then when the body starts vibrating, you're working into its own healing mechanisms. And that's how all these techniques work. So that's really the beginning of the class. But we also do laughter. We do laughter Qigong.
Okay. What on earth is that? Tell me about that.
Well, laughter. You see, the reason why I created the Chi Gong class, I formed it on the basis of the advice of, look after the NHS. And I thought, right, I'm going to think of all the things that I can do which are going to make the body strong. And if you laugh for a minute a day, you strengthen the immune system for 24 hours.
A minute?
Yeah,
a day?
1 minute.
Wow,
so we time it. We do it every day. And it's ridiculous, honestly. I sort of burst into spontaneous peals of laughter in front of my camera. My husband wondered what earth's going on. But we do it for a minute and we time it, and it really works.
Okay.
It really gives you a strong body, and it really energizes the body, because laughter has a very powerful effect on the body. It's flooding the body with endorphins, and it's strengthening the positivity of the cells. It's making everything, this is what you want. It's strengthening the life force. And when you have strong life force, your body feels well. When you feel well, you've got more energy, and then suddenly life just all gets a little bit easier.
Okay, so I know that there may be some kind of cynics. I know that for me, I'm a massive fan of Chinese medicine, because I had problems getting pregnant, and my son is now 17, and I had a lot of acupuncture and a lot of work on my feet. What's it called? Yeah, which is unblocking me. And I went to see the doctor, and all the Western medicine people said to me, "Oh, you've got polycystic ovaries. You'll never have a child." And I was like, okay. Well, what do I do with that information? So then I went in and sort of tried, and then I went to Western practitioner, and they said, put out your tongue. And I was like, And they looked at my tongue and they said, oh, have you got something wrong with your tummy, your spleen? And I was like, but I didn't have an ulcer when I was little. And they went, oh, okay. And they helped me, and they helped me with acupuncture. And a month later, I was pregnant with my son.
Yay!
So I know that, I'm not just saying Western medicine at all. And
no, we need both.
Amazing and brilliant and wonderful. But in terms of sometimes with the things that seem unfixable, or in systems that, there's something going on with your body, you don't know what it is. So I think it could also help to fix your body. But I love this idea of being able to kind of work on your body so all you are is more energetic. I did a Monday motivator thing yesterday saying, how do we get, what does it feel like not to have enough energy? What does it feel like to have enough energy? And what does it feel like to have more than enough? And I was thinking a lot about that this week, because this week is all about nurturing. So it's lovely that you're on. But it's like, how do we nurture ourselves? How do we give ourselves more than enough energy? So on that question, so if we were going to put some kind of routines in place, because you've sent me these things as well. So
yes, there's a few things to cover off. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to have everyone to have to buy things in order to be energetic. But
leave those things to one side, because the thing is, you see, there is a brand behind me, which I created called Hayo'u, and there are products attached to it. But that's purely because people like to buy nice things. People like to gift things. People want things. And I thought, well, if they're going to buy something, at least get good quality stuff that I know the origin of it. But, healthcare we are very privileged in this country. We have a free NHS service, and we are all honoured, grateful and proud to have such an amazing thing within our country. We are so lucky. But to me, healthcare is free. And the wisdom that I've learned along the 20 years of practicing Chinese medicine, there is so much of it. And I want to be kind of at the front of the funnel, giving that stuff away for nothing, because this is the kind of content that can make people's lives so much easier. And even, for example, your example of saying, well, they looked at my tongue and they said about my spleen. But what if you knew that yourself? What if you could have found that information out for free? What are the people who can't afford to spend £50 to £100 on a practitioner? What about them? There's always going to be people that will want to see a practitioner and want the one-to-one attention, but there's a lot of people that can't afford that. They have neither the time nor the money, or one or the other, to get there. And therefore, it's really important to get this information out there and to lead people in daily practices that I do them myself. I am so convinced by the information I impart that I do it. I don't just send you off to IGTV and go, well, there was something I recorded a year ago, you can just do that. It's like, no, I get up each morning and do it with you. I literally get up and do it. That's how convinced I am that this stuff works. And the class and the flow that I created was really a distillation of reams of amazing stuff that I've learned along the way. I thought, but it needs simplifying. People need something that they can do that works and that you feel it at the time, like brushing your teeth. You feel the energy, you feel better. You leave the class and go, wow, I feel great. Oh gosh, great. And you do. I mean, you really, really do. I do. And my body's quite resistant. So I found along the way that I have to really go deep into whatever it is that I'm doing for my body to finally go, oh yeah, actually that does work, as opposed to other things. So the trick to these techniques is to just take a long look at your life and go, right, what have I got time for? And if the answer is I have no time, I'm flat out, I've got time for like a minute a day. That was where the Hayo'u Method came in. The Hayo'u Method was an ultimate distillation, like a toothbrush. Okay, everybody has got their head round taking 2 to 3 minutes a day, brushing their teeth. It gives you a pleasurable sensation at the time. It leaves them feeling nice afterwards. And then there's that smug long-term benefit thing that or you sort of vaguely accept the fact that you will have your teeth later in life. I can't imagine having dentures. My nan had dentures. I mean, I'm nearly 50, and by the time she was 60, she had false teeth. So in 10 years' time, it's unimaginable I wouldn't have my teeth. Why? Because I brush them. It's the same thing for your healthcare. So tap your body every day. It takes 1 minute to go around your body with this tapper.
And you don't need a tapper, do you? You could just, I mean, that's fabulous. Don't get me wrong. It's great. But, for anybody who's...
And I do this every morning, so you don't need it. The only reason you might need it is because if you want to get to your back, you can't reach your own back. So, but I even give you the specific points where if you hit here, for example, that's a acupressure point that reverberates down the whole back. So no, you're not hitting your whole back, but that's the next best thing. So everything I talk about on Katie Brindle is free, or it's Chinese soup spoons or coins or jam jar lids or hands, breath, intention, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. This is what people need. They need to understand what's going on with their bodies. And I say this in clinic all the time to people. I say half of the solution is understanding the problem. If you understand what's going wrong in the first place, you've got half a chance of fixing it. And then the solution always starts with intention, knowledge, and then, of course, breath. And that is what the origin of chi in the body is: breath, then water, then food. And yet everyone comes to me with their diets. They start with food. It's like, no. That's the third thing. It's the first thing is air. That's what we do all the time, is we breathe. And the Chinese masters, of course, they knew all this. And of course, you know, in times of old, food was scarce. You know, when we all had COVID, when the COVID hit, you know, we all went to the supermarket and bought loads of loo roll. Well, back in the day, you know, food would just disappear. There was, you know, you would live in austerity. And consequently, they created all these incredible techniques using breath, because there's always air, in order to keep alive until the harvest came back in and you could go eating again, and then they'd have a feast. That's what people used to do. So
every single expert that I interview on Psychology TV or for the magazine, you know, everyone talks about breath. You know, it's ubiquitous. It's right across the board. You know, it is the fundamental. And it's, I mean, I'm just about to interview Wim Hof next week.
Oh, wow.
This guy, you know, and his thing. And I've been doing his breathing every morning. And what I mean, just, you know, for people to be open to lots of, so I know that many of our readers or people listening to this will maybe be quite familiar with some of the techniques that you're talking about, but for some people it's completely new, isn't it? And you're bringing it to them and you're saying, wow, have a try. And like the Buddha said, you know, it was just try it. You don't have to, I don't need to persuade you. I don't need to, just try it and see if you feel better.
Which is that's my class each day, because that's why I do it for free, because it's just, we'll just join the group, see how you get on. And my job is to make sure that it impacts you to such an extent that you leave that class going, wow, oh, okay, right, wow, I do actually feel significantly different. I am going to actually make that in. But if you can't fit all that in, you just tap the body and use these, you know, air is free, use these techniques. And I think one of the problems in modern culture up until COVID is that we are so used to, as a culture, being marketed to, being told you've got to buy something. You know, you just assume you've got to dispense money in order to get the benefit, and it's not true. Actually, you know, the best things in life are free, and wisdom is free. Advice and knowledge and breath, techniques, ancient techniques that have been created thousands of years in the past, that have served billions of people for thousands of years. This stuff's free. You have to buy everything. I know they'll kill you for saying so, but it's true. You know, you don't have to buy anything. You just need to give yourself some time. And I think the age that we're in right now has given us all a little bit of time. It's given us the realization that we were all quite time poor.
Yeah, no, that's right. And for people to maybe have time to experiment, to find out, to kind of check in with themselves, to go, okay, how is this working for me? How is this not? Now, we have a lot of readers at Psychologies who are looking for a second career. Now, you trained in what? What's your background? What are you? I know you got a degree in this stuff. What do you, if people want to kind of dig deeper and learn more about it, what do they learn?
Well, there's various things you can do now. It's different now to when I started. When I started, I didn't even know you could study Chinese medicine. I studied massage originally because I thought, I had a big mortgage around my head, and I was kind of a life change for me. So I studied massage because I thought I can monetize that, because most people like a massage. Not everyone likes acupuncture. There's a lot of people that don't like your niche before you've even started. And massage took a year and acupuncture took 3. In fact, it took me 5. So I had to get up and running and get earning. So I learned Western massage, and then simultaneously had a Chinese master teaching me Chinese massage specifically, which is called Tuina. That enabled me to set up a clinic, and I worked very hard and people liked what I did, and therefore I was booked quickly and full, which meant I was earning. Then I went on and studied reflexology, which is of course Chinese in its origin. I did feet, hands and ears, added all that in. And then I went on and studied acupuncture, but I was working the entire time and just added it in and added it in. Nowadays, if I was coming into it in a different route, I would come in by the Chi Gong that I do, because Chi Gong is a massive growth market. We do the Chi Gong class, which comes through what I do each morning. There's a guy I work with called Aaron who teaches the kind of the next level down from when you do the stuff with me. And we're actually recruiting teachers at the moment. So, we're looking for people to want to get involved. And that, again, it's a bit like being a yoga teacher. It gives you money, it gives you income, whilst you can then go on. You can now study acupuncture. There's courses now where you can do distance learning. I mean, it's all changed since when I did it, which means you can do it in your own time, which means you don't have to go your job. Yes, you have to work very hard to get it all in, but it was never thus. But that's what I would do. Always start with something where you can see that there's an open market and a broad funnel of people interested in what it is, because that will monetize, and then you can become more niche. Because again, when I started self-care, nobody was in self-care. No one even knew what it was. Even now, no one really knows what Yang Sheng means. I have to translate it, which is fine.
Yeah. But your book is a bestseller. Your book is a bestseller, and it's out there, and it's spreading these ideas, and kind of, for me, it's very much within the platform of psychologies is very much about saying, there's not one. My belief is there's not one way. There's one way that works for me, but for everybody, there are different ways and different methodologies that work. And what I love about what you're doing on your daily Instagram feed, with Qigong and the meditation classes, it gives people an experience of it, so they can say, does this work for me? Oh, I love this. This makes me feel more energized, and just lets them, experience it.
Absolutely. And then the journey starts. You see, it all starts with a eureka moment. That in my life, Chinese medicine hit me at 3 different junctions in my life of absolute pain and problem in my life. And it was like this arm that kind of reached out and showed me this jewel, and I was just staring at it in abject misery, going, this is so beautiful. I can't believe I'm looking at this when I feel so wretched. And I kind of entered into, sort of dived in, and thank God, because I cannot stress enough how absolutely fantastic Chinese medicine is. It is just brilliant. It's just the complete remit of healthcare. And, you don't have to be going into a kind of competitive, trying to compete with Western medicine. We don't need to. Western medicine is brilliant, but you do not bother Western medicine with prevention. You don't. Western medicine is not geared up as prevention. It's not what it's there to do. It's there to treat once there's a problem. So get onto the prevention agenda, because it's now no longer a question of living till you're 90, and that's the benchmark of a healthy life. It's like, no, it's not. It's about how good a quality is your life. How much pain are you in? How are you navigating the peaks and troughs of your life? Because we all have problems. And that's where Chinese medicine comes in. It helps you do that. And it makes sense of everything.
Yeah, wonderful. Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. That was, I feel kind of inspired to learn more. And, as you say, these simple techniques, I'll definitely be joining you tomorrow morning.
Yay!
I want to do all the energy. And
you've got a tracker now, so you can do it.
Yeah, I can. Yes, I could try now with it. I did wonder what it was when it came. I thought, oh, well, maybe I can put my tomatoes on it.
Yes, well, I suppose, but no, there's much better use for that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today. Lots of
amazing. Take care.
Bye-bye.